All right, friends, how you doing today? Aaron here bringing in your daily horoscope for the 28th of August. It is Wednesday. Happy hump day. All right. This happy hump day comes with a bit of tension. All right. We've got the moon has moved into Leo. All right. Going through the early degrees of Leo in the morning. And then we've got Mercury at the very last degrees, 28, 29 degrees today, and it's going to move out into Virgo tomorrow. Or early, really early, or late at night / early in the morning, depending on where you're at in the world. Again, this is Eastern Standard Time, so make sure to check where your clock is at to know what's going on. Either way, to know today is we're transitioning. We're transitioning. We have a lot of great changes coming our way. Okay, a lot of changes have been going on for the past week, past few months. And they're really coming into a sort of tension these past couple of days and this past week. And leading into next week, we're going to experience a lot of tension, a lot of balance. All right. It's not going to go away anytime soon. So it's like finding the comfort in discomfort. Kind of like we talked about yesterday, finding the comfort in discomfort. In uncomfortable situations is where we grow, we expand. All right. This is the year of expansion. Okay. Now, with the moon in the early degrees of Leo and Mercury at the last degrees of Leo, we can have an overwhelming feeling of our ultimate truth, that what we feel and what we think is ultimate truth, that we know what is is. In this fiery sign of Leo, we can be extra dramatic. Okay, about me and what's mine and my emotions and my thoughts. We can be very dramatic about what's going on. Okay, and we can, when communicating with others, we can be rather selfish in our communication, and this requires our attention. Okay, as boundaries, new walls, new boundaries have to be created, and old ones have to be torn down. All right. Very, very important. Now we also have Venus in Virgo. Venus is the first one to start this. Let me show you the chart. Venus is the first one to start the square to Jupiter. Okay, squares are tension. Squares are balance. Okay, this is tension. This is balance and needs our attention. Between what we want, what we love, what we desire in this very focused way, with our personal expansion within the limits of this third dimension. How do we get what we want? Okay, this isn't necessarily just a spiritual thing here. Now, a fun way to look at this, and it's kind of interesting, these are all Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune, all in their home signs. Okay, and you see Saturn here is splitting the difference between Jupiter and Neptune. Now, both of these are about expansion. Now, if Uranus was right here, that would be extra phenomenal, and I could break that down in a really fun way. But basically, Jupiter is about expansion within the limitations of Saturn, and Saturn rules the third dimension. Okay, this is our reality, our physical reality. Jupiter can only expand within the limits of what Saturn is allowing it to. And now you see Saturn beginning to trine to Venus. Okay, now Neptune. Okay, so first, on the outside of Saturn is Uranus, is the breakthrough, the great awakener, okay? That eureka moment, the aha. This comes with joy and comes with great hardships, with great falling, the falling of a great wall or the falling of an empire. And the beginning and reconstruction of something new, very futuristic. Okay, so it's Saturn is the limit. Saturn is the limit. Uranus breaks through the limit, and then Neptune is free to expand and express without being bound by the laws of this third dimension. Again, which is why we, would tend to look at this in the realm of spirituality and thoughts and ideas in our imagination, which these aren't above, the physical world. These are beyond this physical world. Okay, so when we have Venus starting to square Jupiter, Venus trine Saturn, okay, and both Jupiter and Saturn making a connection to Neptune. Okay, so this is about our expansion, our personal expansion of what we want, love, and desire, what is needed, and restructuring, letting go of the old and bringing on the new. Okay, and not being so dramatic and stuck in our own ways that what we feel is the ultimate truth, that what we think is the ultimate truth. We have to remember this below the line stuff right here, where all of our personal planets are right now, is again personal. This is thinking about oneself instead of thinking about others and how we're applying to others. Virgo is the first sign where we move past ego and start saying, okay, there's other people in the world. There's others out there. There's other things going on beyond myself. There's more than just the physical world. And we start to become aware of that and applying ourselves in that direction. All right. So some fun ways to look at this. Again, we're creating new boundaries. That's absolutely important, and being able to communicate these boundaries without this flare of drama. All right. It's like the extinction of Jeffrey the giraffe. Okay, who is the mascot to Toys R Us? I just drove by a Toys R Us here today, and I was like, that's a pretty good metaphor for what's going on right now. This was a necessary part of the evolution of our existence on this planet. Toys R Us was cool. It was just like, oh, this kid's, playground. Everything was just toys and toys and toys. And whether, you were a child going there, or you were a parent taking your child there, or an aunt or an uncle taking your niece or nephew, or your grandkids, or whatever it may be, there was a sense of awe. And now it's like, okay, you've got Walmart and every dollar store, gas stations, Meijer if you're out here in the Midwest, or over there in the Northwest. There's Fred Meyer. Either way, there's toys everywhere. They're not just a toy shop. Okay, but you're also not paying the premium price. And you have Amazon even further. We're breaking down this brick and mortar store, and it's like you're not paying for the electricity, you're not paying for the worker there. Okay, it's just like we want to come to be the most economical, not just the cheapest, but it helps. Those toys are expensive, and through like a place like Toys R Us, we were paying a premium. Okay. So it's not about paying a premium is not the thing, but it's about the change. It's about these great changes, okay? And now some things have to be torn down. Sometimes those things are things that we love in order for us to build something that's more economical, that's more feasible for our pocketbook, it's more, feasible for us to get through our lives and to live. Another fun, way to look at this is like, look, I live in the Motor City. We don't have a great we don't have a mass transit. It's not Chicago. This is not New York or Washington, D.C., where they have these amazing metros. Even in L.A., the metros are kind of, take it from North Hollywood to downtown, whatever. But, these are very small increments. So we're forced to, use these vehicles, which create emissions that are bad for the planet. So it's like this was very necessary at the time. Henry Ford is arguably the greatest, one of the greatest influencers of the 21st century, right? But there's no question about it. Now, he wanted to use potatoes or corn or hemp to get these cars to move, but we settled on gasoline. Now, as necessary as this invention was for us to get out of the horse and buggy, for us to be able to travel from one place to another faster, more conveniently, now, later in life, we're realizing, oh, this fuel, this gasoline, not only is it causing world wars, right, but it's actually very harmful for our planet, which we care about. And because of these things, because of something that was a necessary part on one end, okay, a creation, a service that was there for humanity, right? Virgo, we're giving to humanity, okay? So it was very necessary for the automobile to exist. And now look what we have. We have Tesla motors. We have, these new hybrids coming out. And then if you look over in Europe, Germany, I just posted this to the Waking Masters page on Facebook. And it's like Germany's created this new, train system that lowers emissions even greater. It's like this is breakthrough stuff. So sometimes we just don't know the damage that we're creating when we've created something that we wanted to create for good. All right? Not everything is this big evil corporation or this greed that sometimes we can kind of see, this corporate greed or whatever it may be, from when we look at, the small man on the totem pole perspective. Like, oh, they're just doing this because they want more money, or they did this and they're keeping us at bay. Here, it's like those aren't necessarily the best things to focus on, but what can we do? How can we apply change? And that's what Virgo season is all about. It's about applying this change. And while one wall falls, it's important that it's not loose where we're getting trampled over. Okay, we want to be flexible and moldable, but at the same time firm. And that is tension. There is balance in that. That is not an easy task. Okay, we've got Venus has just started this aspect. Mars is about to hit this aspect. The Sun is about to hit these same aspects. Okay, this tension, this right here, what I'm talking about, is going to continue to happen for the next week and a half. Okay, we're going to be feeling this because Mercury's moving pretty quickly, but I mean, this is all coming up this week. So we're going to feel this stuff, into next week, but this is still our daily. I'm just kind of giving you a heads up of what's going on. So when we do reach these things where it's like a brick wall in a hard spot, okay, to try our best not to be overly dramatic today. Because again, Mercury come tomorrow is going to be moving out into Virgo as well. And it's home sign of Virgo, okay? Place where it's very happy to be. All right, we're getting stuff done, we're getting focused. And if we still are dealing with this, who am I? Where am I going in this ocean of chaos? Timothy Leary, right? That's okay. As long as we are just putting our best effort into each day, as long as we are getting up and saying yes to life, we're getting up and saying, yes, I can. Whatever comes my way, I'm going to be moldable and still firm. All right, because earth signs as well, we have so much earth energy right now. Let me go back to the chart for a quick second. We have so much earth energy. We've got Uranus over here in Taurus. This is really what's breaking down these walls. Okay, this is goodbye Jeffrey the giraffe. All right, we need to make way for something new, and this is the moldable aspect of it. This is the mutable sign of Virgo, which means it's the weakest of the earth signs. It's going to be taken over by the more powerful air sign of Libra. Okay, so this is building and falling and building and falling, and the ebbs and flows Again, these trees that come back every single year and bloom and they die. And the flowers that blossom every year and then they die. And the food and the fruit that's only good for so long before it's rotten and dead. Okay, because there's a finite limit here. And Saturn and Pluto and the South Node up here in Capricorn. So it's like, okay, this is me and my possessions and my money and my stuff, and we're completely changing the way that we view these things. And now here, this is how I give back to the world, how I can be changeable, how I can use the knowledge that's here before me today to create. Okay, just like what I was saying a moment ago, like, okay, well, the knowledge that we have now is automobiles and the fuel industry is not where we foresee ourselves in the future. So we have to be willing to change, but make them very real just the same. The earth signs want to make stuff real. And then Capricorn's right is our image. This is our public image and how we are viewed in the workplace. And hey, are you flimsy? Are you a tree that's just going to be knocked over by the first storm? No. If you are, you're not going to be reliable. So it's like we need structure, we need this balance, we need discipline, we need to be the most that we can be while also being moldable. Very, very, very important. So, not being overly dramatic when things go not our way today. If things don't go our way, just try to not fly off the handle. Again, it can be very emotional. It can be quite dramatic. Hopefully that's not what's going to go on in your day. Hopefully this is, because there's also the fun side of Leo. There's a creativeness. There's a fun playfulness to Leo. Or the moon is moved out of the watery sign of Cancer. So they've got a little bit more fire, and sometimes that fire wants to burn down all these bridges, burn down all these walls, and it's, kind of destruction as well as playfulness. Forging the ideas, with Mercury there, yeah, we're forging the ideas and forging the concepts. And it's at that last 10%, the 28th, 29th degree, and then we're birthing into Virgo. All right. So we want to set it on fire, burn it all down to rebuild it again. And if that's what has to happen, okay, if it's the death of Jeffrey the giraffe, let's not do it overly dramatically. Let's not do it to where we are creating a big scene and Toys R Us is the evil corporation that's trying to rob our children of toys because they charge so much money. And it's like, all right, they're just a business trying to stay afloat like any other, and has been taken out by the new way of working, the new way of thinking, the new way of trading services. Okay, that's what Virgo is all about, is being focused, being traded. It's ruled by Mercury. So this is a mental game, which is interesting because, again, it's not an air sign. Air signs we think is very mental, thought process-wise. This is Virgo, but it's very specific. Very specific. So that's our day, all right? Tearing down the old, rebuilding the new, being moldable without being so about me and my emotions and my flair, Yeah, we're getting ready for this Virgo new moon. Big new changes coming up. We're about to have all five. We're going to have Venus, Mars, the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury all in Virgo. Whew. Intense. It's coming. It's coming. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.